Hello, I'm Ritesh and you're watching Dancing with Data. So one question that is pretty common in the Power BI community is that number of data refreshes allowed in Pro license of Power BI desktop. So if you're talking about Power BI Pro license, so it's basically 8 refreshes per day. So is there any way to increase that? So I'm going to make use of Siddhant Workspace and we will discuss about Maven Practice Power BI dataset. And with Power BI Pro, you have 8 times per day. And sometimes you want to have frequency of say 5 minutes. And the reason is that you want to give your client fresh data access as much as you can. So it's very important for you to understand your client persona because this 8 times will not be a limitation if you understand the persona of your client. You are giving 5 minutes frequency because you want to give fresh data access to your client, but maybe they are coming less than 8 times per day. But you are handicapped. You are giving 5 minutes frequency because they cannot refresh on their own because client they don't have access to dataset page. Otherwise, they can come to this page and they can refresh whenever they want. But that is not the case. We don't give dataset access to the client. So what we can do? So basically, I'm talking about the use case where actually clients are not, they don't need frequency like 5 minutes or they are not refreshing more than 8 times a day. I'm talking about one Power BI user. So this 8 times can still work for you, by the way. But then how you are going to give them access to this data refresh without them touching the data source page or say the workspace access? You can make use of Power Automate, which is a perfect example of workflow automation where you can create several workflows. Basically, this has been used for automation. I'm even making use of the free version for now. And the price is pretty reasonable and you can do a lot of automation with the help of Power Automate. And if you think that you need to learn this technology and there is a deep learning path, no. For a small workflow, you can make use of Copilot, which is pretty much available. I can show you now. First of all, go and create your account, powerautomate.com. After that, I go to create. Sorry, not create. You have to go to my flows and you're going to create a new flow. And you will have to say automated cloud flow that you're going to make from blank. Okay, you have instant cloud flow as well. But the real key is not automated instant. The real key is describe to design it. So I'm talking about you can go there and you can create as well. But then if you are new, I'm just trying to show you how this artificial intelligence works over here. So you can describe your requirement. So I will say create a workflow to refresh Power BI dataset. And here you go, that's it. You have button and you have refresh. And I say, okay, I like it. I say keep it continue. And I say that, okay, create a flow. Here you go. So manually triggerful because we want to give access to the client, right? Because we are not supposed to give workspace access to client. So we will give access to this workflow. And after that, in order to connect to the particular data set, I'll just go to workspace, Siddhant workspace. So I was talking about the data set at Maven Practice Power BI. It's already connected. There you go. After that, I'll save it. Okay, now I will test it. Before I test it, I'll show you the timestamp of that very particular data set. So the timestamp is, see, this is the one, right? This is 5:55 p.m. Right now it is 6:14 p.m. as I can see. So let me just go back. I can now test it manually. You continue, run flow, started. So let me just go. Actually, there will be two instances. Okay, done. Duration 0.02 second. It was pretty fast. If I just go back and I'll just go and check. I think it's 6:15 now, so it should change. So you can say it's 6:15 and 30 seconds. So that's it. So I've come back to my workflow, go back. So my flows. So this is the workflow which I created just now 1 minute ago. And from there, I can just go and add my client name. Suppose it is this.Ritesh. It's not in my organization, but whoever is there in your organization, you can just. The thing is that now, if actually they are refreshing less than 8 times a day, so I think this is a better option. With the help of Power Automate, you create the workflow, you make it safe and secure so that it should not be like, whenever client wants, we will go to the workspace and do something over there. No, we need not to give that access. Just create this workflow And from this workflow, definitely you are using your own credential, but you are just giving them the access to refresh whenever it is required instead of refreshing every 5 minutes, because the original plan was to schedule, right? That way, it basically it is not going beyond the Power BI Pro capacity. It, this is there only, but it will perform with respect to this use case. I see another workaround in which actually you are going beyond the license limit, and this is pretty unique. I won't recommend it, especially for big data set. But for a small data set, what they have done over here is, so they have picked three. They have made copies of the same data set. So instead of one, you have three. So that's why I said small data set. Now you refresh 8 times for 0 to 8, then 8 to 16, and then 16 to 12 a.m. That's the way you have now 24 refreshes per day, and you are making use of API to switch the report source data set. This is like an Indian jugaad, right? But then if your data set is already small and optimized, then you can go to direct query as well. It's like a live connection. But the performance depends upon the performance of your data set in case of direct query. Or else if you have big pocket, you can refresh for upgrade to premium per user and you get 48 refreshes per data set per day. So I hope that you would have got a few ideas in some of the cases, like the first one that I talked about. If your client, if they're refreshing only 8 times a day, so you don't need to do all these stuff, and you can just make a workflow with the help of Power Automate and just share with them. Just go and check whether Power Automate is already bundled or is it free, because I guess there's a free version as well for the basic workflows, basic frequencies and all. And even if there's a price tag, it's quite nominal. Much better than going for the premium plan if you don't need it actually. So this is Ritesh signing off from Dancing with Data. If you find it useful, click on like button, comment for more videos or questions if you have. Do share this with anyone who is trying to get out of the mystery of Power BI data set refresh. Bye bye. See you again.